Hey guys, today we're going to do something that's really kind of cool. It's directly related to Chapter 1 in The Lightning Thief, which you should have read yesterday afternoon. And in that chapter, the main character, Percy, is on a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. And of course, then he kind of has some problems with his pre-algebra teacher, which I won't give too many spoilers in case there's anybody absent that did not read. But what we're going to do today is we're going to actually kind of take a virtual tour of the Metropolitan Museum in New York with the iPads. So you should have the iPads. We're going to have you go to Google Earth and can kind of follow along with this if you'd like, if you already have the iPads. If not, we can play it again and get you kind of acclimated to what you need to do as far as getting there. So the first thing you need to do is when you open up Google Earth, you should see the Earth, duh. And we're going to start with where we are in the world, of course, at Merrimack Heights Elementary School. Now, you guys don't have to start there. You guys could go directly to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. But we're going to start with Merrimack Heights. So let's get there. We're going to zoom in. All right, of course, there we are. All right, and the reason why we're starting from here is to kind of give you an idea of where we are in compared to the museum in New York City. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. I'm going to clear this out because we already have that. And we're going to type in Metropolitan Museum, and it will pull up Metropolitan Museum, 5th Avenue, New York, New York. That's the one we want to go to, okay? Don't put the capital E in there because that was just a mistake. And let's go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Swing across the country, and there we are. Now I'm going to zoom back out to kind of give you an idea of where we are in the world. Maybe, if this will cooperate. There we go. Zoom back outside and see we're in New York City. Of course, New York City is on the east coast of the United States. This is where the area we are, and this is New York City. So let's go back down to the Met. And something actually that I learned while I was gone yesterday at my little technology conference is I learned something that Google has started doing is, you guys are probably familiar with the Street View on Google Maps or Google Earth and things like that. Well, what they've started doing is they've actually started doing the Street View in popular places like museums and things like that, to where you can actually go and actually tour the museum virtually through Google Earth or Google Maps. And that's actually what we're going to do today. We're going to go into the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where Chapter 1 of The Lightning Thief actually takes place. Okay? So what we'll do is, this, of course, is the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I'm going to go up here and grab the Street View icon. And I'm going to pull it right here at the entrance. And that's kind of what I want you to do, is this area right here is where we want to go. And let's see where it takes us, because sometimes it's a little... Okay, here we are in the lobby of the Metropolitan Museum. This is one of the more famous museums in all the world. It is world-renowned. It's kind of a cool building. And here's the thing that's kind of a bummer, though, is here we are. And if we go over here, once we get there, get a real clear view, if you look up here at this banner, New Greek and Roman Galleries, once we get a little closer, and it says straight ahead. Well, unfortunately, if you look real close right here, they've got it blocked off, so we can't actually get in there. Now, which is kind of stinks because we can't see the Greek and Roman art, but we'll work on that a little later. But what I want you to do with the laptops, and once you get in here, is I want you to kind of take a tour, just kind of browse around. if we go to this side, which is really cool, the other side, the opposite side of the gallery, the main lobby here, what you can get into is this area over here. Now this area over here is the side that has the Egyptian art, which is kind of cool. Now if you remember in part of the Red Pyramid, Sadie and Carter actually had to go to this museum and open a portal at a temple that was actually in the museum. Well, lo and behold, there's the temple right there. So what you can do is, probably the easiest thing to do is to exit the street view, kind of zoom back out, looking at the building, and if you do your street view over in this area here, it'll take you into that gallery and you can kind of look at some of the ancient Egyptian art. If you get to the right place and not in a corner of the museum like I ended up. Here we go. Here's a good gallery, and you can kind of look at some of the art. And here's actually an exhibit that I think you can go into. Is Tutankhamun's funeral. You can go in there and mess with all that stuff. It's pretty sweet. So what I want you just to do is I just want you to kind of go through, kind of look through the stuff, look through the Egyptian stuff, kind of get an idea of that, and that way you can kind of get a surroundings of where Percy was on his field trip, what he was kind of looking at, some of the stuff that wasn't mentioned in the book. In the book, it did mention one story of a titan named Kronos who actually ate his kids, which is kind of gross and weird. And we're going to talk about that myth probably tomorrow when I come back from my conference. So, but enjoy doing your virtual tour of the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Have some fun with it, do some exploring. If you're ever in New York City, that's a cool place to go, but I've never been there, and we are not taking a field trip there. So don't ask, because I know that's the first question you guys will ask whenever I come back. So have fun with that. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit about this some more. We'll talk about some of the Greek mythology behind the story of Kronos eating his children, which is weird. And then we'll talk a little bit about Chapter 2 tomorrow, okay? So your assignment is just to kind of look around, poke around in the Metropolitan Museum. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.